Everybody, it's Super Bowl Sunday weekend. We're going to be doing some baby back ribs on the smoker, and thanks to a very generous brother's birthday present, we're going to be smoking some gourmet competition baby back ribs from this company right here, Compart Duroc, which I've never heard of, but I'm told and I understand that this is what the pros use when they compete. And when you look at the meat, you can see the marbling. It's definitely a different kind of meat than what you would get in a supermarket. So I'm really looking forward to these ribs. I hope I don't screw them up. So the very first step is to get the membrane off the back. This is probably one of the most important steps I think of when I prepare ribs. And you go to a restaurant, you see a lot of times they take shortcuts because this is kind of labor intensive and a lot of restaurants don't want to take the time. But it's one of the most important steps because the membrane is like a seal on the back, and if you don't have it off of there, the fats don't render through during cooking. You don't get the mopping sauce to penetrate, and the dry rubs don't penetrate the meat, so you don't get tenderness and flavor. So we're going to go ahead and remove the membrane. Now I've already tried a couple of these, and I've found that these membranes don't come off very easily on these competition ribs. They come off in little tiny pieces. Usually on a supermarket rib, it comes off like a sheet of plastic. You start your knife under here, you get your fingers on, you can peel the whole thing right back. With these, they're so tender that the best I'm going to be able to do is score the membrane down the bone like I'm doing here. I can't really get much of the membrane off because it just disintegrates in my fingers. So we're going to go ahead and go down each bone, and we're just going to penetrate that membrane. And that'll be good enough because that'll allow it'll cause a breach in the seal of the membrane, and it'll allow all that fat and juice to render through, tenderizing the meat, and all those good spices and mopping sauce ingredients will go ahead and get through the rib. So this is all set. I've done these bones here. We're ready to go. So now the next step is to go ahead and get some good old rub. You can use just about any rub you want. I've got Cleveland Heat here, which is my own recipe. Anybody that wants it can have it. I can tell you the ingredients. There's a lot of cayenne, paprika, various spices, some brown sugar.
Wait, pause. Go ahead.
So we're going to go ahead and put this on liberally, just like this. Plenty of it. There we are. I'm going to rub that, pat that down in good and firm in the meat and work it in. And we're going to put these in a 2.5 gallon Ziploc bag in the refrigerator overnight. Any of this dry rub that falls off will just sweep into the bag, and it'll kind of mix in with the juices of the rib and tenderize it and flavor it overnight. So that's all there is to it for the preparation. We'll see you tomorrow when we get the smoker going. Well, good morning everyone. It's Sunday, February 7th, Super Bowl Sunday. We're excited about a nice afternoon of football and barbecue today. It's a beautiful day here in Cleveland, mid-40s, the ground is bare, and the only thing that would make it any better would be if we were watching our favorite Patriots team play tonight. But I guess we can't have everything. So we're going to be putting these ribs on in a couple of hours to have them ready for the kickoff time. But in the meantime, we've done a couple of things here to get ready. So from here you can pan down to the stove. We'll show the ribs as they came out of the refrigerator. As you know, we dusted those down with our Cleveland Heat dry rub last night, and we're bringing those up to room temperature a little bit so it doesn't cool down the smoker too badly. While we're waiting for the coals to get ready, in a little bit we'll be starting our mopping sauce. Mopping sauce is called a basic beer mop. You can Google that online and get the recipe. Essentially it's a beer, it's water, it's vinegar, apple cider vinegar, some kind of an oil. Today I'm using butter for a change of pace, and a variety of spices that you can alter to your taste. I'm also changing up to an Angry Orchard instead of a beer today. I happen to have one of those in the refrigerator, so I thought it'd be a good complementary flavor with all the apple wood smoke that we'll be putting in the smoker today to add a little bit of apple flavor to the mopping sauce in addition to the apple cider vinegar. So a little later on we'll show you the cooking process, but when it's all finished we're going to be topping off the ribs with my favorite barbecue sauce, which is the Stubbs Sweet Heat. Everybody that I've introduced this barbecue sauce to raves about it. It's a little hard to find in the stores. It's catch as catch can. I think it's because it's pretty popular and sells out a lot, but you can find it online. And it's a great compromise between people who object to too much heat and those that like a little bit of a kick. So I recommend you try it if you haven't already. Okay, we'll be back shortly, and we'll be taking you through the startup of the cooking process. Well, welcome back everyone. It's just about 2 o'clock. Time to put these ribs in the smoker. It'll take them about 3.5 hours on the average, not much more than that. That'll have them ready to eat just before the kickoff. So we've got the smoker all set to go. I use the cowboy charcoal. That's the best stuff to use as opposed to briquettes or anything. I find I like that the best. Comes in great big chunks of hardwood, and I've topped that off with some chunks of apple wood that I put around the perimeter of the fire pit inside for extra smoke. So right now this egg is reading about 300 degrees. It's kind of leveled off there, but I know that that's just residual heat from when I got the fire started. Once I open the cover up, get the meat in there, it's going to drop right back down to the 225 range, which is where we want it for the duration of the cooking. So everybody's equipment is different. I tend to run my lower damper at about 1 inch and the chimney at somewhere around an 1/8 to 3/16. Depends a little bit on the weather and the type of coal and everything you're running. But I'm expecting that's going to run at 225, but we'll check that out as we get these ribs started. So the game plan is to get the ribs on for about an hour, let that initial dusting of dry rub kind of render into it a little bit, and then that's when we'll do the first mopping, and then we'll mop it for every 45 minutes after that. So with that, I'm going to open this up and get these ribs on the smoker. We're good to go. Chimney, there it was. All right, we're all set. We'll be back in about 60 minutes to see how they're making out. Well, we ran into a little snag here, as it turns out, with this cooking process, unfortunately. Apparently I got a little heavy-handed with the coal when I loaded up the smoker, so as a result I've had a hard time keeping the temperature below 275, which is way too hot. I'm okay with anything under 250, but 275 runs the risk of getting these things cooked too fast, and that's not good for the tenderness. So I've pretty much shut down the dampers here, and I'm trying to bring it down to a respectable temperature. So this is actually the second mopping these ribs have received. I've gone to a 30-minute interval instead of a 45-minute interval, try to keep the cooking chamber a little cooler. So right now, as you can see, we're starting to see a little bit of retraction off the bone, which means these things are getting done. And after 1 or 2 more moppings, we're going to test for doneness. The way you do that is you take a gloved hand and you just kind of pick the rib up like this. If you start to see the evidence of a little bit of cracking, get them off of there. That means they're done. But right now, as you can see, there's no cracking, so these are still rubbery. That means they're not cooked yet. So with that, we're going to go ahead and give these things a good mopping. It's good to get that lid open just to get a little bit of cool air in here right now. Normally that's a bad thing, but today it's a good thing. So I'm just hoping I haven't blotched up these competition quality ribs. But that's what separates us amateurs from the professionals. See you back in 30 minutes. Okay, well we're back here for another mopping. It's very stubborn. It's keeping that temperature up there at 250, even though I've got the dampers pretty much completely shut down. So a lot of energy in those coals. Right now we're at the 2-hour mark, so normally we should only be about 60% through the cooking process, but because the temperature got away from me so much, I'm not going to leave anything to chance. So we're going to go ahead and check for doneness one more time here. And I can see that they're still not cracking. Although that one there is almost cracking. Not much though. That one isn't. Okay, we're good. So we're going to go ahead and give these another mop. There we are. And we'll be good for another 30 minutes. Okay, it's been 3 hours into the cooking process. It would be a world's record if these things were done now. But given the uncontrollably high temperatures, nothing would surprise me. So we're going to go ahead and check these things right now, and I can see already that they've shrunk significantly. So I'm going to give it the glove test. Whoops, look at that. We got cracking going on here. Cracking there. Cracking there. They're done. These are coming off right now. So we're going to handle these like we were doing an organ transplant. Very carefully. And get these in the house. That one there is almost coming apart right there. Okay, and there's something for the chef. Tasty. Okay, we're back inside. We've brought the ribs in, got them on a carving board. We've hit them with the Stubbs Sweet Heat barbecue topping sauce. You can see from what I've done here is I've cut into a couple nice looking smoke ring. The pink outer section of the meat indicates the smoke has penetrated the meat. This has been an adventure, you know, with the thermal controls of the smoker, so I have no idea what we're up against. I'm going to find out right now as I taste this one. Here we go. I gotta say, that's incredible. That is incredible. How we got there, I don't know. But had to have a lot to do with the product. Not so much the cooking of it, but that is a tender rib, I'm telling you right now. Pulls away from the bone with no effort. Tremendous flavor. No evidence of every membrane in the back. It's all rendered away. These are some good ribs. So Mary, you're running the camera. I want you to tell me what you think. You take a bite. So when we were off camera, Mary tried one, and Mary, what'd you think?
It was excellent.
Excellent. A little hot, right, for your taste?
It's a little spicy for me, but it came right off the bone,
Yeah.
which is what I like.
It was tremendously tender.
Very flavorful.
Malcolm Reed, stand back. You're in trouble. Seriously, you got nothing to worry about from me. But just to say another thank you to my brother for a wonderful birthday gift. Wish you were here eating them with me, Craig. But there's plenty in the freezer, so when you come back out for golf, we'll put a hurting on the rest of these. Thanks again, everyone. Bye-bye.